Welcome back to the Mail-In Podcast. Happy Thursday to the Mail-In fam out there. Randy is just jamming to the Mail-In theme song. Kind of distracting, to be honest with you. I am your host, Brett Merriman. In the co-host chair today, you may know him as your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. That's Dave Ruff.
So is Randy always like this during the mail-in?
No, it's usually very early, and he's not a morning guy, as we come to find out.
Okay. Well, he's really onto one right now. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, Dave. Ever since he started riding his bike into work, he's got the juices are flowing.
Yeah.
He was damp coming in today.
Straight up moist.
Do you like the hat that he wears? He wears the little visor thing.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He has the visor, little biker hat with his helmet.
Did you go? You went helmet, right? You always go helmet. Okay, good.
Yeah, he goes helmet, but then he doesn't. He's self-aware enough. He doesn't wear the biker shorts or the tight shirt.
Sure.
He just wears a cutoff. Randy, would you like to comment on your biking outfit?
Well, it's a tank top, usually high vis chartreuse, to make sure people know that I'm riding around. Yeah, the cap is mainly just to keep the sweat out of your eyes. That's why I wear it.
Did you say high riz?
Hi, dude. You know that I'm the fucking the Rizzler.
That's the kind of stuff you can expect from me. I know a lot of Sal gals are sad that she's not in, then it's me. But I think by the end of the show, I'm going to win over the Sal gals.
That's kind of the goal, Dave. What's been going on since you last appeared on the Mail-In Podcast? I don't know how long ago that might have been.
Podcasting.
Sure.
Some more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, digital media.
You did post a reel the other day. How has that performed?
Are you talking about the reel on Too Much Dip?
No, I'm talking about the.
My personal.
You can talk about the viral reel on Too Much Dip. Congratulations!
I don't like
by
to talk about that, except for every time I look at it. No, I did post one on my personal Instagram at DC Ruff.
Sure.
A lot of people say you shouldn't post a reel, especially a reel that Instagram suggests to you without, it's hard to even post it, but if you're going to post it, maybe tweak it a little bit, add some photos, change the song. I did none of that. I just posted it as is. They served it up. I said, you know what, we're going to give it a run. At DC Ruff, we're looking at something like 10K listens or views.
You put the K on there.
The K is on there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not a bad call, given that if Instagram serves you something up, you might as well take advantage, because chances are they're gonna push that. They're gonna reward you.
Yeah.
For being an obedient little puppy dog.
And I have no look, I know it's not viral. We're not even approaching micro viral, but from my little Instagram account, I'm having fun. And just because the photos were from like 2 years ago or something, it's just a photo dump down memory lane.
So it's a multi-year photo dump. Photo dumps are popular lately, Dave. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
People are just doing like, this was April, and they're posting not necessarily themselves. It could be a pizza box. It could be a tree.
Could be one of kids are doing.
One of themselves. You know, maybe it didn't make the limelight. They didn't want to solo post it, so they put it in the dump just to get the that engagement cranking.
You got to do that, and I could have told you that. As a 38-year-old man, I'm pretty dialed into the ins and outs of Instagram.
Sure, as a 28, soon to be 29-year-old man.
When's that birthday?
May 30th, Dave.
What's the plan?
Coming up on 19 days. We've been throwing around a boat. It's Memorial Day weekend though, and as it always is for my birthday. So it's kind of, you gotta balance people being either out of town, have plans already. Usually whatever lake we end up on growing up is like a semi-birthday party in a way.
Sure.
So I'm thinking maybe like a little Thursday before everybody heads out of town boat situation.
Okay.
For happy hour.
Is that not the scheduled day of our...
No, that is not.
Our
that
smoke
is
day.
We're doing our circling our meetup.
Our meetup. We're having a boys meetup.
Correct. Not for our listeners.
Okay.
It's just for us.
Yeah, it's just for us.
By the way,
no ribs for you.
I'm breaking this to you on the podcast.
Okay.
The sponsor of that event, which y'all will soon come to find out, is sending over mitts and balls.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we're getting some brand new mitts. Randy did just buy a mitt. You bought a mitt for like $4 though, right?
Your mitt is trash.
I had a $50 gift card to a
Kohl's?
To a different competitor of this
Good
thing.
good call.
So I paid $14 for it after the gift card.
Guys,
but still, then I wasted my gift card.
I can't wait to have a catch.
I hate when people say it that way. I'm a play catch guy, and have a catch just doesn't. It doesn't. Something in my brain, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
It short circuits you a little bit.
It
I
does.
can tell.
It really does.
Yeah,
and I've heard it
well,
my whole life.
I look forward to throwing a baseball and catching a baseball with you. How about that? Is that a better way? More succinct?
It's
It
like
is.
when the British people say they're going to have a Chinese. That's how they
What?
say it. Instead of saying they're going to get Chinese food or like get Chinese, they say have a Chinese. And TikTok's been just their brains have been busted.
I mean, I'm familiar with have a chat, obviously, in the
if they're getting
English-speaking
Chinese food, they're
countries.
having a Chinese.
Is that only for Chinese food? But
Yeah,
like,
why does
what
it-
about other?
It might be like they're having a Mexican. I'm not sure, but I know for sure it's Chinese.
Okay.
We should probably get off this topic.
Have an Italian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Thank you for balancing that out, David.
See?
We are the Mail In Podcast. We answer questions and try to help you guys out. Please subscribe on iTunes and follow on Spotify. Hit the hotline number to leave a voicemail, 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio, at Mail In Podcast, or at the bottom of this episode in the description, Dave. If you're so inclined, hit up the store, washmedia.shop, and hit up the YouTube, youtube.com/mailinpodcast, where you can see Too Much Dip now going fairly viral. Arguably viral. Yeah.
Biggest clip in company history.
Not bad.
Shout out to Cool Adam.
Not bad. People are calling out your lack of knowledge, though, on the UFC positions, I guess you could call that.
There's a lot of people. I've heard them described as white belts, chubby white belts that are in there, trying to make fun of me when like the joke went over their head and they don't even realize what they're saying is inaccurate. So, just saying, we don't have to harp on that. That's interesting that you had to really hammer that point home and kind of put me in my place a little bit.
I was just saying I think a lot of the commenters wanted to dig at you for that, and I don't think it was warranted.
You know what? Whatever. I'll take impressions however I can get them.
A ninja chop versus a whatever the technical
ninja choke versus the guillotine. They do look
Right.
similar, actually.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that, and clearly a lot of people on YouTube, but that's fine.
grainy video. It could have,
I'm not mad about it. Clearly, I'm over it.
right. You're viral.
I'm viral. Can't take that away from me.
Sure can't. Here we go, Dave. Hey guys, there was a recent ick list covered on Circling Back about guys from ladies. You may think this question is going one way, but we won't go there. What are the ick lists from your friend groups for a typical weekend out? So, for those unfamiliar, we did some commentary on Circling Back yesterday. The University of Georgia, I guess it was the Chicks account from University of Georgia, posted a notes app list of things that gave the girls the ick.
Yes, I believe this was produced by I've been told a sorority gal,
Right.
and it made its way up to the UGA Chicks account.
Yep.
And there's even been a fellas ick list that's been issued, as we learned this morning.
The University of Alabama has dropped their ick list for women.
The boys clap back.
Right. Absolutely. Which we are not going to do.
No.
But this is where this stems from. Now, this ick list is about things you see on a typical weekend out that perhaps give you the cringe, the ick, the ugh. I don't want to see that. I'll lead off just so you know where we're going. One of the things that gives me an ick when I'm a typical weekend out, a typical night out, maybe with the boys or with the girls, Dave, I don't discriminate, is when somebody treats the bartender and or waiter or waitress like shit. I cannot stand people that don't know ordering, bar, restaurant etiquette.
Absolutely.
The demeaning nature of when they go to the bartender or just yelling at them from across the bar, like, "Hey, where the F is my tequila?" Just stuff like that, where I'll end up making eye contact with the bartender, just like shaking my head, like, "I'm so sorry for what this drunk asshole has just done."
Sure. That's a big one, especially at dinner or a restaurant. Like, I don't like it when people don't acknowledge the wait staff when they like refill your water
Mhm.
or bring you something. I like
Yeah.
maybe I'm guilty of overthinking.
I am totally guilty.
I'm an overthinker, I think,
I
but I don't like. I feel weird just not acknowledging someone.
totally agree. I overthink because I say thank you when they pick up the water to start pouring,
Mm-hmm.
and then I say appreciate it. No A, just appreciate it upon finishing.
Yeah, you got to cut down on the syllables.
Right.
Yeah.
I do too many thank yous.
And you're West Texas Brett.
I mean, I am wearing, I guess, kind of a West Texas get up today, but
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
No, that's good. I think I went a little bit of a different way with this. So
Sure.
For me, I don't get out too often, but if a bar has a line of people
auto
outside of
ick.
it, not a line of cocaine.
Right.
If the bar has a
Sure.
line of people of say more than 3 people, that I'm like, and we're gonna go wait in it. Waiting in line at a bar, like especially one that's I don't want to. I'm not doing that anymore.
Mhm.
And I know I'm probably
Mhm.
not gonna have a good time inside that bar because it's one in, one out. It's gonna be nut to butt, and I'm just not doing that these days.
Dave, if a bar is nut to butt, period,
Sure,
I'm out.
exactly.
I'm too old to be, trying to. We have to get to the bathroom multiple times. We have to get to the bar multiple times. We're not ripping shots. We need
Hey, hand up, bathroom boy, right here.
sure.
Small bladder, noted.
I need a clear pathway, and I'm happy to Barry Sanders a little bit
Yeah.
to get through, but I don't want to John Runyon.
Do you over excuse me when you're walking through like a crowded
I
bar?
I over oop.
Excuse me.
Sneak. Let me sneak through.
I, for whatever reason, and I think about it every time I do it, but I always, with the same pitch, same inflection, same everything, I just go, excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
And I'm like, did I even have to say anything? I didn't.
It's like it's kind of like milady. Excuse me.
It's appreciated.
Yep.
Appreciate you,
All right.
pal.
Yeah. Let me sneak by you right here.
My biggest ick,
Okay.
and this is, night out, dinner and drinks, whatever. The boys are getting together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you've got a group of 8 guys. That's a big group, maybe 6 guys. Check comes, everybody wants a separate check.
Yep, Dave. I'm totally with you on
And
it.
I know you've probably covered this ground many times on this show, but
Mhm.
that is one thing that it's like either one guy gets it, one gal gets it, or you all throw your cards in and split it. Unless there's something so egregious in it. And then even if there is one guy who got there late and had like
One
a soda
beer or whatever.
pop,
Usually he is just
That-
excluded from the entire
Exactly.
operation. Yeah.
make it right. But yeah, don't make the waiter, especially at like on like a big night, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That waiter's got 6 different tables. Don't make them go line item out your receipt and split everything up. It's just a beating.
I don't know where I've never been in the service industry, so this empathy is just innate.
Right.
When somebody, even if it's splitting like 6 checks down the middle, I get the hair on the back of my neck stands up.
Really?
Yeah, I am like I'm not necessarily the points guy, but I want to be points guy
I've always wanted to be that guy too.
because it's just like, hey,
There's still time.
listen, let's make it easy. One card. You want to get on with your day. You want us out of here. We're probably too rowdy. We're making a scene. I'm sorry for the steakhouse dinner that got a little too much.
slopped up your steaks.
And now we have to split this 9 ways. It's like I'm sorry.
And if you're able to do it, and I know I'm maybe in a different age range than a lot of the listeners. but
Sure, yeah.
If you're with a group like that, and let's say you were that table and you did make the waiter split it up or
Mhm.
whatever, compensate them accordingly.
Of course.
Make it worth their time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Got
add an extra little 5% on there. Little like
Yeah,
hey,
a little
good
20.
job.
We're going 25.
we're going 25. Hell, maybe
I'll do
maybe
that.
30. Maybe 30 if it
I don't
was
hate it.
excellent service.
Sure, yeah, sure. I'm default 20, and
Yeah.
I know that I guess is unpopular. I've heard like people have been in like 20 is like excellent service, and I am 20. If it's 0, I mean, fine.
Yeah, you have to really, really. I don't mind if you mess up, It's when you're just not at my table enough, or
Yeah,
that's when I'll start being like, maybe I'm gonna dip down to 15.
sure.
Hell, maybe 14.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But that doesn't. You know what I got to say about Austin? Austin, there's a lot of things you can complain about. I have good service almost every time I go out in Austin.
I agree. I totally agree. Austin's been
The
a good service town.
It is a good service town. I think a lot of people make a really good living waiting tables, like in Austin, because I mean, obviously, it's a lot of the new restaurants are very expensive, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's
for
weird
normal
that
people,
literally
but
every restaurant that opens up is trying to get like a Michelin star here. It's like,
yeah,
oh, this is like uh some fusion with some other fusion that doesn't belong. But guess what? We did it.
yeah, we did it like
And
that,
and the name is one syllable.
and you're not going to get out of here for under $300.
Correct.
Sorry.
This is John
Check out our wine list, though.
by Chef Pierre Engvall, who's a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah, here's our chef from Bulgaria.
But sure. Probably makes a mean dish.
Probably.
Does it need to be $59?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Ick for me, Dave. This goes back to kind of the bar etiquette thing. When you're sitting there politely, and maybe we're not, the most handsome lads in the bar, so we're not getting served immediately. But when somebody, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Mhm.
When somebody's just yelling or loud and flagging the bartender down vocally, and they get served before you.
Dude, you know what immediately came to mind?
Yep.
And I think I did this. I thought this was the move in my 20s. Having your credit card in your hand and kind of holding it out.
Not
I've
good.
definitely been guilty of that. And I
Mhm.
know we've heard from bartenders before. They're like, no, we hate
I
that.
hate that.
That is
I
a
hate
bad
that.
move.
The
Bad
guy
look.
the guy who is too old to be at Rustic Tap and starts clicking the bar, like clicking his metal Amex
Alright.
on the table.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of getting personal with me. Is
Do
this
you
why
do
have me
that?
on? No.
Oh,
but I
Jesus.
am too old to be at
No,
Rustic
no, no,
Tap.
no, no. I'm thinking of like,
Parents' weekend?
yeah, like slick back hair guy
Oh, yeah.
who,
White bathing suit.
wearing like jeans over black loafers and a button down from 2004, like that guy
Okay.
who clicks the card on the table.
You can't click it on the bar. You don't do that.
No,
That's a bad
please
look.
no.
It's a nervous tick.
That type of person is actually, they're the most guilty of like half of the icks on my list.
Yeah. No, for sure. One thing that bothers me is people who, there are a number of bars where they are very crowded, and if you get a spot, maybe it is up next to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on the bar and you're taking up some real estate there. Don't act like I'm personally aggrieving you for trying to get a drink either right next to you or through you and your fella.
Yep.
Your outfit.
We're all trying to get the same location. We're
You
all
got
trying
a
to do
good
the same
spot
thing.
there.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you can block everybody out.
No.
I hate that.
Let them in.
Let them in.
One thing that honestly will sober me up immediately. I can be 3 sheets, and if I get like an elbow to the side or the
Yeah.
back with somebody trying to sneak through me more than once, and it feels anywhere near on purpose, I'm not necessarily seeing red, but my night is ruined.
You have sensitive ribs. You're kind
I
of getting
do.
over a rib injury.
I did break a rib famously.
Is that better? You haven't.
Yeah,
said
no,
anything about
it's good.
it. All right,
It's good. There was like 3 weeks there though where I couldn't.
Yeah.
I would sneeze, and I would be like, oh.
Did you ever think about having it removed?
No, I think that's an expensive surgery, and our health insurance, while solid, is
It's not covering rib removal.
no.
Yeah.
Man, any other icks, Dave? You got?
No.
I'm trying to think. They were all very bar specific, but
Yeah.
being late.
Being late. Yes. Not great. What? Oh, is Randy the late guy?
He's the
Oh
late
yeah,
guy.
Randy is the late guy. Randy is late to his own birthday dinner.
We'll be hey, meet on West at 9 or wherever. 9:30, 9:36, 9:42. That's the Randy time.
Yeah,
this-
you guys go way too early to the bars.
We went late last week, and there was lines of 90 people everywhere.
I also don't want to be the person that shows up, the first one to show up. It's just weird.
Oh, I totally don't mind showing
No,
up,
that'll
getting a
change.
spot. Yeah.
Dude, you'll come to love, depending on what bars you're going to. I love getting there before anybody and just having like a few minutes to order a beer at the bar, survey the place,
Yeah, take a
check
lap.
Twitter, maybe do a tweet, let people know what I'm doing.
Sure. Get an Instagram story out. You know,
Yeah.
what are we, something flair, Dave?
What? Flair? If there's a like the dinner is at this time, I'll be there at that time. If we're just meeting at the bars, I'm not going to be there on time. I'm going to take
Oh,
my
this
time
guy.
getting ready and enjoying my weekend. I'm not going to,
Bro.
kill myself to get out there at a certain time.
A
When it
little
means
dramatic.
nothing.
A little dramatic.
Just
a little bit of a
getting
diva
ready,
here.
killing myself.
Yeah,
People didn't know
exactly.
Randy's the Wash Media diva.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna sing in the shower for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
2 more icks.
Yep.
Real quick, and these are mainly college bars, but probably a crowded West 6th or just a dirty 6 bar for sure.
Okay.
Sticky floor.
I had that on my list.
I hate that. And then you ever been in a bar and you can smell like it's not throw up, but it's like
Yeah.
smells like bad bar mat?
It's stale beer. It's like wet rug beer.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
mildewy, just
It's
bar
mildew,
mat.
yeah.
Ugh.
I get that when how about a table that has you put your arms down, especially
Oh,
in the
yeah.
summer, and you can just feel it. What feels like kind of super glue,
Yeah.
and you peel your arms up off of it because you're
Yeah.
already a little sweaty in Austin,
Mm.
and there's crumbs from popcorn or chicken wings or something like that, and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Ick, man. Not good.
We could do a whole
We
episode.
could.
On it.
I think we just did.
I kind of think so. You
Clip
know,
that 15-minute clip.
you know what doesn't give me the ick though, Dave? Smoking meats,
Mm.
grilling meats,
Mm-hmm.
specifically with our friends over at Butcher Box.
Oh, yeah.
Butcher Box has stocked my freezer up like you can't imagine. I'm literally bursting at the seams, and I need the weather to warm up because I need to get out on my grill, which it is right now. Famously, it's actually like 80 degrees, and it's almost too humid to even. So
Quite humid these
yeah,
days.
we had the 7 days where it was comfortable in Austin. Though those appear to
Those
have
are behind us.
Yeah, those are.
Hope you enjoyed
unfortunately.
it.
See you in November again. So.
You know, the only thing that gets me out is grilling Butcher Box meats.
Correct.
That's what's going to get me out of bed.
At this point, you do need to famously fix your smoker, though. But once you do,
Bring over some meats.
you're looking for high quality meat from Butcher Box.
Absolutely.
I did give Micah the gift of ribs
You really did.
and,
They
and
look
many
delightful.
other things.
Yeah.
I might have to bestow the gift of meat upon you, Dave.
You know what? I would appreciate that because Butcher Box, I think I still have some Butcher Box stuff in my freezer, and it always delivers. It's very good.
Yeah, because it's easy to find high quality meat there and seafood that you can trust. It's 100% grass fed beef, free range organic chicken, pork that's raised crate free, and wild caught seafood. No antibiotics, no added hormones.
Love that.
It's delivered right to your doorstep
Love that.
with free shipping always.
It's fantastic. It's a good deal.
You know what you can do with Dave? You can get a curated box from the Butcher Box folks, put together something they think you might like, or customize your own.
I like that too.
An amazing variety of high quality cuts at a value you cannot beat, plus member deals, plus recipe inspiration, guides, tips, and hacks with your subscription. Dave, want to hear how you can get this special deal?
Please, I'm listening and taking notes.
Sign up today using code MAILIN to receive ground beef for a year, plus $20 off your first order.
That's so much ground beef.
That's 2 pounds of ground beef free in every box for a year,
Yeah, that'll do it.
plus $20 off your first order when you sign up at butcherbox.com/mailin and use code MAILIN.
I'm going to be making bolognese every other week.
Meatballs,
Heck yeah.
burgers.
There's so many things.
You can really do a lot with free ground beef.
That's a good deal. Check it out, folks.
Sure is. Hey, Sally and Brett. Here's my deal. Dave, are you ready for this?
Please.
I'm 28 and married. We have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old with a third baby due in September. Neither of us came from big families, but when we got married, we agreed that we wanted to have a big family early. Well, they seem to be well on their way, Dave. We absolutely love it. We love our kids. Our social life is active with friends and church families, and things are great. But we live in a 2-bed, 1.5 bath condo in the Austin area that's owned by my wife's family. We still pay $1,000 a month in rent to cover taxes and HOA fees, but our family is growing and we'll need to move out in the next couple of years. Am I being overly anxious about the idea of houses being so expensive? Our household income is $100K and the numbers don't seem to add up. Do I have to move far outside of Austin to afford something? The idea of home buying feels so far out of my reach, and I genuinely have no idea what I'm going to do. Am I crazy for thinking this feels like an impossible task? Thanks, love the pod, and would appreciate y'all's input. Dave, you are a homeowner.
I'm much more than that, but yes.
You are much more than that, but at its core,
It's facts.
you go home to a piece of land and a home you own.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It is cool. I sometimes I go in the backyard and just kind of think about that. Like, oh yeah.
This is mine. You
Yeah.
own dirt. Hey, Dave, they're not making any more of it, you know?
No, man, that's true. I don't own the minerals.
Did you feel
Sadly.
overwhelmed going into that process?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially in a city like Austin.
Right. And you said they're not paying rent. They are just paying $1,000 a month to cover HOA and taxes.
And property taxes, yeah.
Okay. Let me just say, enjoy that while you can, because that, I know with baby
Because-
number 3 on the way,
Yep.
it's not going to be necessarily the best situation in that condo, but boy, that is nice. That is very, very nice. And I think without getting into your finances, like that's probably an opportunity to save a little bit. or
Yeah,
a
I feel
lot.
like we're on the Dave Ramsey show right now. Like
Yeah.
we had the income, we had the situation.
You should start saving money. How about that? Make your lunch.
Yeah,
That's
right.
my advice.
Hey,
shout out
don't
Dave Ramsey.
Don't get Starbucks every day, Dave.
No, your avocado toast, you freaking millennial. What are you doing? No, the issue is interest rates and what that's
Yeah.
going to look like in a year, 2 years. That's a big difference. I lucked out, and I typically don't discuss my interest rate publicly,
Right.
but we did get in before the hike.
Yes.
Which is very, very huge. Something else to consider, something that I knew about property taxes. I wasn't dumb, but man, when that rolls around,
Mhm.
every time you just never really prepare for it. You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. No state income tax, Dave. But
Cool.
they gotta make that somewhere else. And guess where
And
that
they
is?
do.
Yeah, that's
Very
out of your
cool.
on your property, actually.
Let me say, I know, like, our parents' generation, American dream, own a home.
Yeah, the
blah, blah, blah.
$72,000 4-bedroom is no longer.
It's not, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with renting.
Correct.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with living out just outside of Austin
Mm-hmm.
in some of the more affordable burbs. All that, like, you can. There's no shame in it. I mean, like, it is egregious. Like, I still am on like the Zillow, so we
Right.
get to see home prices, and while they've plateaued
Mm-hmm.
down where we are, there's still
Still
stuff
insane.
that gets sent that's
And
ludicrous.
and I think, especially say you have 3 kids, like down payments are an issue now.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just, hey, if you need, I know for first time home buyers, there's some leeway as far as the down payment goes. But our parents used to put 20% down on a house.
Yeah, that's honestly what I thought.
Yeah, and you realize that not necessarily the case anymore because houses are so expensive, and there's a trade-off, obviously, because the less you put down, the more you get hammered on the back end as far as interest goes. So I agree with you that I think renting is not looked at, or excuse me, home ownership is not looked at as like this mandatory thing anymore. Like maybe your parents might say it is, and it's like, hey, we choose to spend our money elsewhere or build equity elsewhere or have maybe a retirement fund or a lake house fund or a fund, whatever you want to call it, that sort of replaces that home equity. Or you go the home equity route and build it that way. And that's another route, but it's different than it used to be. And I
Yeah.
think people are realizing that and sort of planning for that. And what I would say to this guy is that I'm in your boat too. I'd love to own a house in the next 5 years. Is that possible? I don't know at this point.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And there was a time I was like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to own a house.
Mhm.
And then it happens for you, and the right opportunity, the right home, it'll all work. What were the ages on the kids again?
3, 1, and 3rd due in September.
Okay. That's a good range.
Yeah.
That's a really good range.
And you know something I don't hate doing, and I think is sort of not like you don't really realize it until you need it, is you can rent houses. You could rent a 4-bed in Manor
Sure.
for a decent rate and get the space you need and not pay HOA and property taxes and still provide yourself a little bit of an opportunity to save.
Yeah.
So, don't poo-poo that option, especially if your goal is to save and build up the money for a house, maybe employment changes or I think there's just a lot of ways to do it. And the anxious feeling and the anxiety of it is because you don't really know where to start, or you don't really know, or you think you're thinking too far down the line here. Because I've been there, and you hop on Zillow and you say, "What can I afford?" And it's like, "Ooh, I can't."
Yeah.
And so that's where the anxiety comes in, and you sort of get lost and stalled, and then you just give up. And then you write into the mail-in because you're like, "I don't know where to start." And I feel you because I've been there.
How many bedrooms in this condo? that
We
they're
have
currently
a
in?
2-bed, 1.5 bath for
Okay.
what's about to be 5 humans.
Ooh. Okay.
Need some space.
Need some space. I would say stay in the situation you're in as long as possible.
Mhm.
And just because you've even though the space is not going to make sense here in a year, you got a good thing
Sure.
right now.
Sure.
But you're thinking about this a year, 2 years out, and that's good. You're not
Mhm.
just realizing it, after baby number 3. They're like, "Oh yeah, we don't have enough space in here." Like
Yeah.
you're getting ahead of it,
Mhm.
and that's a good step.
Yeah. And, it seems just such a thing to, "Oh, hey, save your money." It's like, well, you have 3 kids, all of which are young. You're 28.
Childcare is expensive.
Childcare is expensive. It's like, well, hey, I'd love to, but sometimes it's not an option.
Right.
So I'd say explore the rental market. Don't look at home ownership as a necessity. I understand that people like to do it. I understand why people do it. Um, but it's not what it used to be.
Sure.
And you play that game until the situation changes as far as interest rates go or home prices go or your income changes. Like sometimes you just have to ride it out for a little bit, and this might not be a bad thing to just be present and be content with your present, especially given a 3rd child on the way.
Well said. And congratulations on baby number
Yeah.
3.
Very much so. Congrats. Let's do the next one, Dave. Hey guys, went to a bachelor party, and the best man, who was the groom's brother, covered the big steakhouse dinner. How nice of him.
Very cool.
The bill is well over $1,000, and he's saying that it's the gift to everyone for coming out. My question is, do you let him have this, or do you try to do the math and split and send a Venmo? I'm interested because I am the best man at my brother's wedding and was planning on covering something big, like the Airbnb, like the dinner, but my brother's party is going to be smaller.
Okay. Good question. This does happen time to time.
Or like a dad will pick it up or something,
So I don't think the move is to figure out like what you would have owed on this dinner. I think that's nice that you think that, but the best thing you can do is, I guess the trip's already done with, but like the best thing to do in a scenario like that is you get their drinks,
Totally.
something like that. Even though it's very unlikely to add up to what he paid on the dinner, unless this dude's just a power drinker, which whatever. Just doing that is a good enough gesture. Because this was a gift. The best man, whoever it is, if it's the brother, the father, they're doing this because they're trying to be nice and they will appreciate it. But I promise you, they are not expecting Venmos. I think, especially I don't know what this person's circumstances are, but if you're willing to do that, you probably make a pretty good income, have a good living.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like this is going to hurt that guy a whole bunch.
No.
Or if it's it's one of those things that, hey, I want to do this. I wouldn't try to sort of get underneath that offer. I would just let it happen, and like you said, in any case, make the effort to pick up his tab for the rest of the night,
Yeah.
or the Uber or whatever it may be.
Sure.
You try to chip in, "Hey, thanks for the dinner. I got this round. Your round's on me," it's whatever it might be. But, I think you, as the future best man, who's probably hosting most of this upcoming bachelor party, I think it's a great gesture. Something I would love to do. Something I would love to have done for me, right? Like the best man picking up something.
I like the idea of getting the Airbnb
Yeah, if
because
you're rolling with that kind of dough, sure.
if you got that money, because I feel like assuming your friends aren't like total assholes, they will. You're probably not going to pay for a dinner.
At all.
You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah,
Or a
you will-
drink
you will get
for a
picked
couple
up.
nights. So I think you're more likely to get that back than had you just picked up a dinner.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's interesting because I've been on bachelor parties where that is a thing. I've been on some where it's not.
Mhm.
And in your early 20s, mid 20s, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. It's one thing to have the points guy, right? Who's like, "I'm gonna pick this up," but
Your
the
client.
Venmo is coming out afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's another thing to say, "I'm picking this up, and this is my treat to y'all. Thanks for flying to wherever it might have been."
Yeah.
So, yeah, that works out, especially maybe if it's a place that the best man lived, and he doesn't need to travel or something like that, then just let him have it. But shouts to, best men out there picking up the steakhouse dinner.
Very cool.
Very cool.
That can get away from you real quick.
Speaking of bachelor parties, Dave, I have a question. I brought this up the other day, and at my future bachelor party, an undetermined date and time in the not near future, probably. I want to play golf with my best friends in the world, right? I brought up the idea of a scramble, much like we did at Dylan's bachelor party.
Yeah.
And the company
Quite
I
fun.
was with was like, "Fuck no, I don't want to play a scramble at a bachelor party." And I was like, "Why? Doesn't that make it more fun because you're mixing handicaps, you're mixing skill levels,
Yeah.
and you make it more fun for people that might not be familiar with each other."
Okay. So here's how I think about that. Depends on the course.
Sure.
If we're somehow playing Pebble,
Sure.
I don't want to play a scramble on Pebble Beach.
Okay. You want to keep your own ball.
I want to, yeah.
Keep your score.
If this is a golf centric bachelor party, like we're going to play 2 or 3 rounds, there should be no issues with throwing a scramble in there at all.
Totally agree.
And honestly, if the company you're bringing, if there's some people who really don't play much, if there's a Randy in the group, no offense, then I feel like it's customary to do a scramble just to involve
The
the people who aren't serious golfers, but so they can feel like they're included and have like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
They can contribute.
Yeah.
And a scramble is the obvious way to do that.
Right.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay. I don't think so either.
How many times did we play at Dylan's? I can't
We
even remember.
played twice.
Right. We played that first day, and
Yep.
I played with you, and I didn't
Mhm.
know it, but I was just coming off the flu, and I was dead inside.
Yep.
Bad day. We kept our own ball, and then we played the scramble at Paiute,
Yes.
which was one of the most fun rounds of golf I've had in the last few years. That was just so good.
Incredible. And we
Course-
played it because of the weather. Remember that? It was not supposed to be a scramble, but we said basically on the first tee, like, "Hey,
It's 30-mile-an-hour winds.
it's gonna be miserable. Let's do the scramble."
It's like there's low clouds, just like weird mist. It was just a wild weather day.
Yeah.
We're like, we should scramble because this is going to be a long, long day if we all play our own ball.
And it turned into one of my favorite rounds of golf ever.
Yeah, that was really fun.
So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think people don't like the idea of it because it's like, "Oh, I want to keep my ball or keep my own score." And then they play it and it becomes very fun because then you get to know a work buddy and a high school buddy, like become friends, right?
Yeah.
Or they have some sort of fun interaction. And then I think it's more inclusive.
It's fun watching a Randy who doesn't play but maybe a couple times a year drain like a 15-footer.
Totally.
Like when the group needs it,
Mhm.
that makes it a lot of fun. So.
And I think the team aspect makes it fun with, the cart girl comes around and you're celebrating, and you're getting shots for the team behind you, or whatever it might be.
That's what the
Oh.
boys be doing.
Get out of here with the no
Yeah,
scramble
come
on
on.
bachelor party.
It's your bachelor party.
Yeah.
First hole on our scramble at Paiute. So it was Dylan, KJ, and I. That
Yeah.
was a team. And hit the fairway. I think we had like 160 in, but there was wind. So we were all hitting like 5 and 6 irons.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan and I hit 2 just terrible shots. And then KJ, for some reason, KJ was hitting last. KJ does not play golf. KJ put a 6 iron to like 12 feet.
Yep, I remember that.
And I was just like, okay.
I remember
Yeah.
it's being on the ridge in front of you guys, just being like, was that KJ?
And so we're still talking about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, more fun can happen with the scramble.
Yeah. Hey, if you're the best man, Dave, for your hypothetical brother's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you pick up the steakhouse tab. Maybe you picked up his Nutrafol prescription
Yeah.
or subscription.
That's a
excuse me.
tremendous gesture.
80 million men and women in the U.S. experience thinning hair, yet it's still not openly talked about, which can make going through it feel scary and stressful. And that just adds to the problem. Millions of Americans experience thinning hair, and it's more common, normal even. So going through it can feel lonely, can feel frustrating.
Brother, right here.
It's time to change the conversation, Dave.
Hey, I wish I had Nutrafol in my 20s.
Let's join the thousands of people standing up for their strands with Nutrafol. Dave's team Nutrafol.
I take Nutrafol every day.
Do you?
I really do.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal product. It absolutely works. And I walk into my dermatologist's office occasionally. What's there on the wall behind the cashier? That's the front desk girl. A wall full of Nutrafol.
Yeah, because it is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage for men and women. That's why you see it there.
Works for me. Our friend Dylan, who we've referenced on this show,
Sure.
really working for him.
Really working for him. And thinning is different for men and women, Dave. Nutrafol has multiple unique formulas for men and women to provide exactly what they need based on their biology and age. Every formula is physician formulated using natural, medical grade ingredients for reliable results without compromises. And in clinical studies, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after 6 months. You can go thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code MAILIN to save $10 off your first month's subscription. This offer is only available to United States customers for a limited time. Again, free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code MAILIN. Copy's interesting. But we do love Nutrafol. It's just some liberties had been taken with the grammar there.
Pick up your boy's Nutrafol prescription or
Subscription.
I love that.
What, Randy?
Well, welcome to the mail-in, Dave, where Brett does the biggest stretches for
How is-
segues.
I mean,
into
you could
every
pick up
single
a
ad read
subscription.
is
You
like
could.
that.
Like, hey man, just letting you know I got your sub.
They call me the Segway.
That's right. You and Will.
Hey guys, I'm down bad. I've been talking to this girl for a while now. We've known each other for years as friends. We've gone on a few trips together and hung out lately, whether drinks or dinners, but it all seems to be just as friends. And I have no idea how to go about making the next move. We've both talked about dating, but in a jokingly way.
Oh no.
I really enjoy being around her and doing things together, so I don't want to screw things up if she isn't feeling the same. I normally have no issue making the first move with someone, but with her, it just seems different since I really do like her and don't want to ruin what I have. I feel like I've friend zoned myself, and any help figuring this out would be much appreciated.
Have you thought about writing her a poem?
A haiku, perhaps.
Maybe a nice sonnet.
Nice 575, Dave. We've done friend zone stuff before on this, but not with Dave Ruff.
Oh man, Mr.
So
Friend Zone himself, the D man.
Really, Mr. Friend Zone?
Not an official nickname,
Right.
thankfully.
Dave, what does our man do here? I have my opinions, but I want to hear from you first.
Oof.
Classic scenario.
There's definitely no doubt you are in the friend zone.
Correct.
Like that is a fact. This is everything you've laid out. It isn't murky, right?
No.
You've gone on trips together, and to my knowledge, there hasn't been like just a random like, oh, we made out.
No.
None of that. Okay.
Nope.
So now that we've established what this is, how can you take it to what you want it to be? I think you just have to. You've got to balance like this friendship versus. You got to be willing to lose it. You got to look.
Correct. You
have
can't.
to.
You can't. Knowing where you are in your mental state here, more of the emotional side of things, you have to be completely prepared for this to. Two roads diverging here, Dave. You got to. It's gonna work, or it's not gonna be the same.
And it sounds like y'all have a good enough friendship to where she's not going to like laugh in your face.
No.
And probably unless you really beef it, which I don't think you will, she's not going to just stop talking to you altogether. You're not going to get cut out.
Yeah.
It will definitely change the dynamic, hopefully in your favor. But I think you just have to be like, hey, we've been hanging out a lot. And the more we hang out, the more I realize like I want this to be something more.
Sure. I think movies and TV have sort of romanticized like the just making a move thing.
Yeah.
I think we back off just like going in for the kiss.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because that could end that could end a friendship.
I watched Love Island UK. You can't do that.
No, you got to talk this thing out first.
Talk it out. That's the best way to do it, and be very direct and be confident in your delivery. Don't ramble. Don't do what I do and just kind of dance around it for a little bit. And then like, just be blunt. Be blunt. And she'll appreciate that. And if she's like, honestly, I just see us as friends, be like, completely cool with that.
Yep.
I hope this isn't weird between us.
Sure.
And I promise you'll be, okay, I can't make that promise
Oh,
since I've never met you or her.
reel it
But
back. Reel it in.
The friendship will still be there.
I believe so too. I think it's one of those things where you can't. It may be comfortable. It's sort of procrastinating, right? It's comfortable to sit in this sort of murky zone where you're not too high and not too low, and you can just you just keep it going for however long you want to. But eventually, if you stay here, she's going to get a boyfriend, and you're going to hate that because you never made an attempt to figure things out on your end, and then that prolongs things, and that puts you in a position though where you don't want, and it doesn't give you any closure because you're always wondering what could have been. So the more quickly you act on this from let's go get a drink, let's go to dinner, let's go get a coffee, and lay out maybe where you're at, and like Dave said, be blunt. Just say we've been on these trips, we've been on these dinner dates that aren't dates, we've hung out a bunch, we're best friends. I'm getting to the point where I can't hide my feelings for you anymore.
Sure. And I don't know if he mentioned this, but how has she reacted when he's gone on dates?
Sure. Yeah. There's no mention of that.
It could be an indicator. Like, is she overly protective?
Yeah. Did
You know
she
what I
text you immediately or during? Hey,
Exactly.
How's it going?
Yeah. And definitely when you react, no matter what answer she gives you, do not get too excited and definitely do not get too visibly upset.
Yeah. If she shuts you down, and you're dead inside,
Yeah.
you don't show that. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a chance you might be.
Right.
I completely understand.
But
We've all been there.
this is, we're in a time in life where moving on and getting over and it is critical in your 20s and your 30s, because there are going to be other people and you find or you just bump into, and it may not feel like it at the time, but there's always going to be someone new that you meet or you're friends with, or
And
etc.
if you get rejected, know this: how you act after that will be very important to her.
Yeah.
Because she will be watching, and it may bode well for you down the road if you handle it like a champ.
Sure.
Like, it doesn't bother you that much. Like, yeah, you're like, okay, a little disappointed, but who knows? 6
Yeah.
months, she may start looking at you differently.
Sure. Especially if you've now told her that.
Yeah, and you've gone on trips with her. Like y'all been friends for a long time. Like you're obviously a cool dude
Yeah. It's not
to
like
her.
there's a reason you guys are still hanging out all the
Yeah,
time. Just maybe it's maybe she feels the same way and there's kind of waiting for like a conversation. She doesn't know how to describe it. Maybe it's not gonna go well. But
Sally would have been good for this question.
you know what? You need to it's time. We're years into this.
Question: do you do this in a alcohol environment or a non-alcohol environment?
Oh, I'm gonna say alcohol only, but a limited. Like we're one drink into a happy hour.
Not Friday night on
No,
rainy.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
We're on a Thursday night happy hour. We've each had a glass of wine, and we're not trying to get in one.
Yeah.
And we're one on one.
Because that can obviously affect your emotions. It can affect her emotions. And you want reality. You
Right,
don't want
you-
her to say something that like 2 days later, she's like, I was kind of drunk. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
one to calm the nerves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but before you're even buzzed.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You'll be fine. Best of luck to you.
Randy, any comments here?
I would probably just summarize all that you guys said. Is pretty much you're at a fork in the road right now. It's either you go with her or without her, but like you're just holding yourself back by not like choosing a path right now.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, if she gets a boyfriend, that other path is going to get closed off, and you're gonna
Like weirdly closed off.
you're going to continue down the path that you now only have, and you'll always mentally be there. So
When
you have to make a decision now.
Yogi Barrett, Dave, you come to the fork in the road, take it.
Man, he was full of them.
He sure was. Of all the people I know, you're one of them.
Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench. Who you got?
Johnny Bench.
Definitely Johnny Bench.
Great. One of the greatest.
The great Johnny Bench.
Hey, Brett and Sally and Dave. First time, long time. I'm writing in because my fiance and I are disagreeing on my career path. I work in finance and I do pretty well for myself. Finance. I also like to trade in my own accounts. During the pandemic, I started to get into option trading, and I'd always done pretty well. Lately, though, I've been making a bunch of money on doing that. I think if I focused on this full time, I could make even more money than I do now. My fiance is worried that I won't have a consistent income, job security, or health insurance, and luckily, I can just get on her insurance once we get married, so that's one less thing to worry about. I get her concerns about stability, but I think this could be a great opportunity to actually make a lot of money. Who do you think is right?
So he or she,
He
doesn't have time. He can't do this full time, or he can't just do this at night.
thinks that if he sits in front of the screen trading options all day, we're in good shape. We're full-time shape.
Oof.
Now,
What kind of money have you saved up?
that's the thing. Is there any sort of safety net? Are there any sort of savings that you don't want to tap into? Or have we built up I hesitate to say if you have something that's pretty good as it is, and options trading and the market during the pandemic, the last couple of years after the big crash has been good to great. And now we're experiencing some froth here, and I don't know if options trading is even as profitable as it was 6 months ago. Because if you're not timing the shorts correctly, then you can be fucked, right?
Yeah, I can't really speak to the merits of being an option trader full time.
No,
I'm not. That's out of my
out of your depth, as it is mine.
expertise. But I completely understand her concerns.
Yeah,
You're about to get married. Sounds like you have a good job, very stable.
extremely.
So I just don't know if now is the time to pursue this. It sounds like it's doing really well as a side hustle.
So why not keep the good side hustle with the extremely stable and what sounds like profitable job? What's the word I'm looking for? A
lucrative?
lucrative job.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. And keep the semi to perhaps greatly lucrative side gig.
Yeah, because you can be an option trader on the side, but you can't do whatever part of finance, I'm assuming, as a side gig. So you either do one or you do both in the way that you're doing it now. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I Dave, and I totally agree with you. I think in terms of who is right, I get where you're coming from, and usually on this podcast, we're like, "Hey, man, like take the leap, go for it." You're like
You're
you don't
about to
want
get married
but you're
though.
about to get married. Maybe there's a kid in the
Yeah.
future. Stability is nice to have now, especially with this market uncertainty, which I guess is sort of the point of options trading because you can take advantage of that volatility. But I hesitate to say do it full time. I
Yeah.
like the side gig nature of it. Making beer money, maybe making more than beer money.
Unless you're marrying a member of Congress who
Yes,
can
you
hit you
can-
with some intel
right,
and you can get that Pelosi money.
right. Yeah, the little insider. Yeah, how about the bill co-sponsored by Matt Gaetz and AOC?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm sure that no one will be able to find any workarounds there.
Sure.
But you know what? It's a nice gesture.
You know what? It is.
That's pretty much. You got to be happy with it.
Uh, please be careful if you're doing this. I just don't. The scenario either ends horrendously, and you probably end up, I don't know, maybe losing a marriage or losing your partner over this, or
Yeah.
you end up fantastically wealthy. So
Yeah, and like let me say, if you do continue to be an option trader and you have some sick tips and you want to hit me up and Brett too,
Yeah,
and
sure.
Randy, like let us know because like I would love to know. I would love to know what to do.
I had this syndicate that's buying, 4 to 10 acre parcels out west.
Yeah,
If you want in, it's one person right now. So just let me know.
it's a good little outfit you got there.
Pay this way.
Alpaca's way.
Dave, I'm a fan of Squarespace.
Me too.
You could perhaps you can't trade options on Squarespace, but you could probably write a blog about how you trade options in Squarespace.
You could. You
You
can do a lot, and the most important thing, I could do it, and I am not tech savvy at all.
Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything. Your products, content you create, even your time, Dave. If you were to coach one thing in this world, what would it be?
Oh, sheesh. I would love to coach people on closing deals.
Deal closer.
Yeah, deal closers only.
Coach
actually.
Dave.
Coach Dave.
Well, Coach Dave,
yeah,
if you had a Squarespace for Coach Dave's deal closers only,
yeah.
you have a member area. Squarespace
Whoa.
makes it easier for creators to monetize their content and expertise in a way that fits their brand. With a member area, you can unlock a new revenue stream for your business and free up time in your schedule by selling access to gated content like videos, courses, or newsletters.
Okay.
Coach Dave,
Hey.
you can schedule appointments and online booking and scheduling for your classes or sessions to your Squarespace website. Clients can easily see your availability or reschedule if needed, taking the hassle out of coordinating calendars.
Thank you for coming to my D-Talk.
And Coach Dave,
Hey,
how about analytics?
big. I love getting in the weeds.
Use insights to grow your business, learn where your site visits and sales are coming from, and analyze which channels are most effective. Improve your website and build a marketing strategy based on your top keywords or most popular products and content. So, Coach Dave, are you ready for this?
Please.
Head to squarespace.com/mailin for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch the Coach Dave's brand, use offer code MAILIN to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain like CoachDave.com. Again, head to squarespace.com/mailin for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch CoachDave.com, use offer code MAILIN to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Dave, last one here. Ready?
Let's go.
Hey, Sally and Brett and Dave. First time, long time. Over Memorial Day weekend, my girlfriend and I will be in Austin for the first time for a wedding on Sunday.
Okay. I like that.
However, on Saturday, she has bridesmaid obligations that leave me by my lonesome until 3 o'clock.
Buddy.
What should I do as a first timer in Austin until 3 p.m. on Saturday? Give me some help. Thanks.
Just go sit at a steakhouse bar. Go to
Maybe-
Carve.
Hey, never a bad idea.
So depending on how many friends you're gonna have in the same boat, whether it's acquaintances that you don't, your girlfriend or your wife's college friends, husbands that you see like once a year at weddings.
Mhm.
That's always a fun one.
Sure.
Because you got all the things to talk about. You're not sick of this person. You don't know them well enough to not like them. So you go meet up at the bar. You go watch. This is Memorial Day. I don't know what you'll have on TV.
MDW,
sporting
Dave.
wise.
You'll probably have some. You'll have a playoff game that starts at noon, whether it's NHL or NBA.
Sure.
You'll probably have some baseball to throw on as background noise.
Dude, go wherever I don't know where you're staying, but there's probably a cool restaurant / coffee shop nearby.
Sure.
So sleep in a little bit. Enjoy that while you can.
Nice.
Maybe sneak a workout in or a run.
Okay.
Maybe go run the trail. People like that. It's probably gonna be hot and humid. Wouldn't be for me, but maybe hit your gym if you've got one.
Get a sweat in. You'll
Get a
feel
sweat
so
in.
good about yourself.
You will.
If you get a Saturday morning sweat in.
It's a great start. Go to the coffee shop by yourself. Sit there, have some coffee. Maybe look at Twitter. Look at the New York Times, whatever you read, the New York Slimes, whatever it might be.
Let's make this Austin though. Maybe a breakfast taco, Dave.
Breakfast tacos are a must.
Taquerito.
That works for me.
Veracruz.
There's a number of spots. You can't go wrong. There's very few bad breakfast tacos I would say in most places, but in Austin especially.
Sure.
From there, see how you feel. Maybe you got to go back to the hotel and,
Yeah. Are you going barbecue?
mash that Mondo button.
You could.
I don't know if I'm going Q. A little Q before the wedding is always tough.
But you have a full day of recovery.
You do have a full day of recovery, depending on like what kind of self-control you have.
Yeah.
I've gone to Terry Black's by myself a couple times,
Yeah.
which right here on Barton Springs, one of my favorite places. Go in, get you a plate, realize that there's going to be a line unless you get there 11 or before. But man, do it right. And have some beers. Maybe go sit at like if the weather's good, go to Little Woodrow's on West 6th.
There you go. Catch
They've
some
got
sports.
They'll have whatever sports is on. They'll have it on. Or if you wanted to go somewhere inside and do that, go to Lavaca Street.
There you go.
There's one south and there's one downtown.
There's also one north if you're at the Domain.
There's a domain in Lavaca.
There sure is.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd say, there's nothing. Don't overthink this. Get some breakfast tacos. Get some barbecue if you'd like. There's plenty of options there. You only have till 3:00, so you don't want to show up blitzed. So I wouldn't say necessarily hammer cocktails at the bar. Maybe get on South Congress. Get a pair of boots. Get a hat.
Walking South Congress is cool. There's
Yeah.
plenty of food, plenty of people watching.
Sure.
It's a good spot. If you got some dudes and maybe they want to sneak in 9, 18, like a morning
Absolutely,
round,
yeah.
plan ahead, you can probably go do it.
Yeah.
I would recommend just going and hitting Lions because it's right there, centrally located.
It's
Not the best course, but
Nope.
they'll let you do what you want.
Amen.
That's all you can ask for. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and if you
enjoy
wanna-
it. Enjoy it.
If you want to get wet, get wet. Paddleboard.
You could paddleboard. I
You
would
can
put
rent
some sunblock on.
Maybe this is what I would do, Dave. As I've done this before. Rent a jet ski, perhaps.
You really liked renting jet ski.
I
That's your thing.
almost bought one.
You
yeah,
should
I
just
was
do it.
really far too close to a purchase agreement for a jet ski.
Unbelievable.
Yep. If I had a slip, it was game over.
Enjoy. You're in a good spot. That's gonna be one of the better mornings of your year. I
Also,
promise.
DM Randy. He'll probably come out with you.
Yeah,
He may be late, but he'll be there.
he'll be there.
Enjoy. Dave, do you have any shower thoughts before we bounce?
Oh man, shower thoughts. Thinking about what this El Nino year is gonna look like.
Is it's going to be hot, cold, or wet, right? Is it
It's gonna be
kind of-
wet.
Yeah.
I think the next
Hey, we need it.
we do need it. Austin, Southwest Austin is still in, I think, moderate to extreme drought. Now, if you look around north of San Antonio, around out to Kerrville way,
Sure.
southwest of here,
Johnny
very
Manziel
very
territory.
severe drought.
Yeah,
And-
is that sort of affecting the level of Lake Travis, or is that more Llano area?
That's more Llano. I'm not going to even Llano.
So Llano.
Sorry,
sorry.
I know. I should bog on that. But yeah. You want to see the recharge zones. So way out west, out northwest way,
Right.
Marble Falls. But
Marb-
yeah, it's still you want to. I get depressed when I see drought, even if it's not affecting me like necessarily where I live. It's just
Mhm.
I don't like seeing that at all in Texas.
No.
But I'm just wondering, like, what are we in for a very damp and humid summer? And I think we are.
Hate
Which
to see it.
should keep temperatures down, but also the humidity. So you're still going to have the heat index and it's going to be just not fun.
Swamp it up, Dave.
So enjoy the good days while you can.
You know what?
This is what I think about in the shower, Brett.
That's words to live by. Enjoy the good days while you can.
Yeah, man. Get that tatted.
Randy, any shower thoughts from you before we bounce?
Are sliders just microdosing burgers? I mean,
Well, are sliders microdosing burgers?
Because they are smaller than your traditional burger.
Does 3 sliders equal 1 burger?
Something like that.
Third of a pound of meat? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could put it that way. I do like having sliders because they're much easier to hold and consume. And often you get more flavor per bite because the condiments are more well proportioned.
Why do they call them sliders? Because they just slide down your gullet?
You know what, Dave?
That's my shower thought. Why is it a slider? Why?
I don't have any other than my other headlight went out, so I cannot get my car inspected before I get my other headlight replaced. That's a story for another day.
Okay.
Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can run in at the link to the Twitter bio at Mail In Podcast, or at the bottom of this episode in the description. Dave, before we bounce, where can the people find you?
Circling Back Podcast, Too Much Dip Podcast, occasionally on the Cold Stove Podcast when they want to really talk X's
Great
and O's.
appearance last week.
At DC Ruff on Instagram, at D Carter Ruff on Twitter. Find me there.
Thank you, Dave, for hopping on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Filling in, Sally will be back next week. Thank you, Randy, on the 1s and 2s. Thank you, Adam, clip cutting extraordinaire. I am Brett Merriman. You can find me at Schmerriman on Instagram and Twitter. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.